Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. In today's video I am drawing a mermaid with pastels and I am using Faber Castell mini sticks in the set of 72, and I'm also using Koh-i-noor Giochanda pastel pencils and Stabilo Carbothello pastel pencils, and I am using those onto this blue Pastelmat paper. And although you will have to take my word for this as that she is a mermaid, since you can't actually see anything but her face, but I have added some little details onto her to make her look a little bit more like a mermaid, but she is one. And I actually got the idea for doing this back in May when it was Mermaid, but I have just been so busy that I haven't really had time to do anything. I've had loads and loads of ideas recently. I wanted to take part in a couple of challenges in June, but my mum's been here for a week and we've been doing the garden, which looks amazing now, by the way, so it was definitely worth it. And then I've been to England for a week and stayed with my nan and seen my new baby nephew and seen my sister, so I've been really busy. So unfortunately I haven't had as much time as I wanted to get some pieces done, but I've got loads and loads of ideas in the works, so maybe now when I'm on holiday they will come to fruition. We will see if I've got too many plans or not. But anyway, I'm doing this piece on Pastelmat. One of the things that is sometimes a bit of a problem with Pastelmat, although it can also be a good thing as well, is just that it is so thick. This is really heavy cardstock that this is printed on, or just made with. It's kind of like kind of furry on one side, so that it's got a lot of tooth, but it's so thick that it causes me problems when I try to transfer my images onto the paper. And that is because I don't always dare to draw directly onto the paper, and that's because it's kind of expensive stuff, so I don't want to ruin it by sketching out my piece and doing it wrong and then not being able to erase the sketch, because if you erase stuff you can damage the tooth of the paper. So because this paper is so thick, I can't use my light box to trace the image on if I draw on another piece of paper, and I have been brave enough at times to draw straight onto the paper, but this time I wasn't really feeling it. I wanted to have my sketch first. When I did my piece with Freddie Mercury, I actually made my sketch into a stencil so that I could then draw around it onto the piece of paper, but this time that wasn't going to work because this piece filled the entire paper. And instead I did try to cover the back of my sketch with like pastel so that I could use it as a transfer paper and then draw over the image of my sketch to try and press the pastel into the Pastelmat. That didn't work either. So in the end I did just have to take the plunge and sketch this out really lightly and hope that it went okay, which it did. I maybe should have more confidence that I can do this, but I really would like to find an easier method of transferring my sketch over from the sketch I do on a piece of paper onto the Pastelmat. But anyway, once the sketch was transferred, I decided to start blocking in with turquoise colours, and these are with the Faber Castell mini sticks that I'm working on the face, and I worked from the darkest colour around the edges to almost white in the centre, and I went for a forward facing face with the light from just slightly from forward above, just to make it easier for myself really to work with the shadows and the highlights. I blended from light to dark and just wiped the excess pastel off my fingers in between so that it didn't smudge too much, and I just added more pastels to the areas that were kind of patchy when I tried to blend them in. If they didn't blend well, I just went in and added a bit more pastel to that area and then blended a bit more. And I just did this until I was really happy that I'd got a really smooth gradient from the darks into the lights. And then it was onto the eyes, which you can see me doing now. I wanted this piece to have really piercing eyes, so I chose a pinky purple colour as a contrast to the turquoise. I put in the whites of the eyes first, using white and a couple of greys just to give those shadows and a bit of depth. And because I was working in a smaller area and needing more detail, I switched to my Stabilo Carbothello pastel pencils for this. After the whites were in, I then went in with the pinks and the purples and adding them in concentric rings to try and achieve the kind of flecks of colour that you often see in eyes. I didn't want them just to be flat, I wanted them to look like they had a bit of detail. And I really like how they turned out, and I really love that really crisp white highlight in the middle as well. So I'm really happy with the eyes. And once the eyes were done, which they will be in a second, I then went on to doing some makeup around the eyes, and I did this more to the side of the eyes rather than eyeshadow. And I was kind of hoping with this makeup that it would give more of a clue that she actually is a mermaid and not just some alien looking human with turquoise skin and purple hair, as you may otherwise believe. So I went for some kind of fishy looking makeup on the eyes. And I was at one point also thinking of trying to make her look like her face was half coming out of water. If you can kind of imagine, I wanted maybe some like kind of watermarks around the edges of her face so it looked like she was half in, half out. But my confidence kind of wavered a bit there, and I wasn't really sure that I could actually pull that off, even though I'd looked at quite a few references online and, you know, saved to a Pinterest board and all that kind of thing. So I just didn't want her to end up looking like she had a random white line around her face that didn't really look like it should, so I didn't do it. That may be something that I need to practice in my sketchbook first before I dare do it on a piece like this. So once I was happy with her eye makeup, I then went on to do her lips, which were fairly straightforward. It was just the same two kind of purples again in the pencils, and blending until I was happy. And then after I had done the lips, I went on to do the hair, which you will see me get to in a second. And I did use a similar technique for all of the hair, so I have cut quite a lot of it out so that you don't get bored watching me just draw hair for a good, I don't know, hour or so. I think I was probably drawing hair for this piece. You don't want to watch me doing all of that, so yeah. And to do the hair, I actually didn't want to waste too much of my mini sticks, my Faber Castell mini sticks, so I decided to use pan pastel. I don't have a massive amount of pan pastels, but I did have this really nice deep purple one, and some of them I don't find cover that well either, but just this purple one works really well, especially on the dark blue. It doesn't look too patchy. So I laid down a base with that, which gave me really quick coverage on that I could work on top of. So that saved me a lot of time and saved me from wasting my mini sticks as well. And then after I'd laid down the base, I then used my pencils to add the details. And you will probably notice in a minute, I'm still doing the lips at the moment. I don't know why I'm talking about the hair, but you know, that's what you get when I'm really bad at timing these things. Anyway, the camera doesn't really pick up the difference between the dark purple pencil that I used and the purple pastel pan pastel, but there is a difference, I promise you. I can see it in real life, and they are actually different shades. And after I had done the dark purple, I then added light purple and white details on top. And I still haven't got to the hair yet, but it's coming, I promise you. It's coming now. Look now. So now you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, while you're watching me do the hair now, I'll just babble a bit more. I actually really liked how this piece turned out, and I feel like it would actually look awesome on a bag or on a cushion. So I actually decided, just because I want one, to set up a Redbubble so that I can order a bag of this. But of course, if you also like it and want it on something, there's so many things you can get it on Redbubble, notebooks or t-shirts, all that kind of stuff. If you're interested, I will put the link on the screen now. I'm not saying you have to, I just thought as it's there, why not? And I'll also pop the link in the description below if you don't want to try and type it from the screen. It would of course be awesome if you do like my stuff that you wish to support me, but I'm not saying that you have to in any way. And of course you can support me in other ways if you like my stuff too. A simple like, comment, share or subscribe if you're new here always brightens my day, and I do appreciate everyone who follows me, whether you choose to say hello and leave a comment, or if you're just a lurker. I'm actually a bit of a lurker myself at times, so I totally understand if you don't want to say hello, that's fine. But I do appreciate each and every one of you, so thank you for sticking around and watching my videos every week, or maybe not every week, but when you do, thank you. And I am actually now on my summer holidays, so I have lots and lots of plans for new art pieces. I'm just hoping I'm not being too over ambitious, but there will be a Scrawler box unboxing / challenge coming at the weekend. An art haul is on its way when I get my things from England. Yes, I did buy so much stuff that when I visited my family last week I had to post the things to myself, so I'm waiting for those to arrive. And I'm hoping to do some Disney themed pastel pieces soon, and no doubt take part in some monthly prompts and stuff. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on all my plans. I'm just hoping I get them all done. And do let me know down in the comments what you think of this piece. I love it, but it freaked my nan out completely when I showed it to her. And do let me know if you've got anything exciting planned for the month of July, or are you just taking it easy this month? And as always, I really hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you next week with my take on the June Scrawler Box Challenge. So have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye!